This video is about the reasons you may not want to get Sisterlocks. I want you to ultimately be very happy with your hair decision. So before you invest money and sit in a consultant's chair for 24 plus hours, I'm going to share a few topics for your consideration. Hi and welcome, or welcome back to Chris the Stylista, where we talk about shopping, style, hair, and more as we continue to build community around the lifestyle topics that are of most interest to you. So let me know and we'll continue to grow. As you may have noticed with your social media research on Sisterlocks, not everybody is happy with their hair decision after getting Sisterlocks installed. And that's for a number of reasons. Some people get them and immediately hate them. Other people have long journeys and decide that it has come to an end. After their locks mature, they may not like the shape of the locks, how they're thin in one area and maybe more thick at the ends. They didn't have the uniformity that they expected. They don't think it's right for their hair texture. A lot of reasons people decide that maybe it's not for them. But of course, I want you to make a well-informed decision. No hair decision has to be permanent as long as you have healthy hair that continues to grow. But if we can, let's avoid investing 24 hours plus and thousands of dollars in a hairstyle that we ultimately let go of very quickly. So now let's go ahead and get into the reasons why you should not get Sisterlocks. You feel a bit ridiculous paying so much for hair. I understand completely. In that case, Sisterlocks may not be for you. For me, I kind of thought about how much I was investing in braids and braid hair, how much money I'd spend on relaxers and hair products and weave. And Sisterlocks may still be more ultimately, but for me, it was worth it. I understand if it's a no for you. You don't have 2 or 3 days for installation. Installation is a long time. My installation with meal breaks and bathroom breaks was about 36 hours. So I understand if that's something that you just don't want to do in your life. If you decide that you're going to have Sisterlocks, you're going to be sitting in a chair for a long time. Let me know if you want to see a video on Sisterlocks installation prep. You don't have Sisterlocks consultants in your area. Get on that Sisterlocks website, see where the consultants are. If they are more than an hour or an hour and a half away, you might want to reconsider. Because it's a lot after a busy work day or a busy work week to get in your car and have to go 2 hours to sit in a chair for 2.5 to 3.5 to 4.5 hours or more, and then have to drive all the way back home. So you'll have to really think about if there is a larger African American population and if there are a number of Sisterlocks consultants that can work on your hair. Because yeah, the drive back and forth may be no fun. You don't enjoy talking to people about your hair. If you get Sisterlocks, people will stop you in the streets, they'll stop you in the post office, they'll stop you in Kroger, they'll stop you at the gas station to talk about hair. Sometimes you may have time for it, sometimes you may not. I would advise being kind either way, but understand that the hairstyle may draw you some attention. You don't have a contingency plan if you can't get to your consultant. I would advise taking the retightening class, learning how to do your hair yourself, even if you don't plan to self-maintain, because one of the things the lockdown has taught us is that we have to be prepared to address our own beauty needs in the case of an emergency or a new life situation does not allow us to sit in a consultant's chair. If you're enjoying the video, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you. You're not at all interested in hair care maintenance. Now, there are consultants that will braid, band, and wash your hair, but it ain't free. It is an extra charge in addition to your retie. If you are new to Sisterlocks, after your install, until your locks mature, likely you will have to braid and band your hair before each wash, which means you have to section it, make braids, curl the ends under, and put a rubber band around the end, and wash, giving particular care to the roots and underneath the braids, the loose braids. So that is a part of it. As anyone who wears Sisterlocks or who has been through that initial baby locks phase can tell you, it can be the bane of your existence to have to braid and band your hair before you wash it. I'm sure I got on my consultant's nerves every time I was in the shop asking her, can I stop braiding and banding yet? Can I stop braiding and banding yet? Can I stop braiding and banding yet? But I still braid and band. It becomes habit and routine after a while. I enjoy the look of a braid out. Depending on how I feel or where I have to go, I'll do it. You're not willing to forego other wish list items in other lifestyle, fashion, or beauty categories. For example, I said I was going to continue to update my luxury handbag collection this year. That's probably the last bag I got. Nope. That is one of the last bags I got. And I have a video on that bag, should you want to know more about it. It is the Loewe Knot Tote. I also have a Celine So Single, and those were the last 2 bags that I got. My luxury splurge right now is my hair. It is not necessarily my bags. And even with fashion, I've spent more money on the accessible price point market, you know, little fast fashion, than I have at the moderate or contemporary or high-end clothing spaces, because my luxury at this point is pearl, and I'm fine with that. I am going to slowly continue to build my handbag collection. There are a few nicer items on my fall transition and my fall wish list, but more about that later. You may have to sacrifice wish lists in other areas for hair should you choose to get Sisterlocks. You think the only thing beautiful about you is your hair. If so, installation will be difficult for you, possibly, because for some of us like me, after installation the style was not cute. It's a little spacey. It's giving Angelica's Cynthia doll. It's giving Hellraiser. It's giving plucked chicken. And it takes 3 to 5 months for you to have that full look that maybe some of your lock crushes have. So be aware of that. Some people transition using head wraps or wigs, and do what you gotta do. I really feel like the outcome after those months is totally worth it. If you could hold on for 3 to 5 months for that fullness to really come into its own, totally worth it. You want to do your own thing with your hair, because of course you know your hair best, right? If you've never had locks or micro locks or Sisterlocks, you have to understand that locks come with a very specific regimen. There are things that you can and cannot do, particularly if your locks are newly installed. There's a way you wash your hair. There are certain products you can't use on your hair. You have to wear your bonnets. You have to go back to get a retie every 4 to 6 weeks. There's very specific boundaries that you have to be aware of and comply with if you want your hair to reach its full potential. If you want to have a look similar to, possibly adjacent to, a lock crush with a similar hair texture and hair density. Also realizing that everybody's lock journey is individual, and you may not ever achieve that look that your lock crush has, because she may have completely different hair, or he may have completely different hair than you. You're considering other lock styles that are cheaper or more accessible. If you find some looks that you like and some consultants or stylists or locticians that provide a lock service that you can envision yourself really enjoying and thriving in, and self-actualizing, looking like you ain't never looked, looking good. If that is an option you want to pursue, more power to you. I like Sisterlocks, but I understand very clearly they are not the end all and be all for everyone. Now that there are a lot of Sisterlocks content creators, and we get new Sisterlocks content creators all the time, you have more knowledge at your fingertips than maybe I had when I started my lock journey. And I'm hoping that this video in itself doesn't just influence you to, hey, get Sisterlocks. It gives you some foundation to start your research or continue your research to weigh your pros and cons when it comes to natural hairstyles or lock hairstyles that may suit you. If you'd like to learn more about Sisterlocks, watch my video on my 2-year Sisterlocks journey. It has pictures on the stages of my locks, and I also have a video specifically about my Sisterlocks research. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.